Hello everyone, and welcome back to this Lord of the Rings Minecraft mod adventure. I'm LeftClick, and we are going to head um, across the coast Southron settlements to try and find our way to the city of Umbar. As you all may know, Umbar is a city of corsairs. There are pirates there, and they're very spooky, but there's also these non-corsairs people who live on the coast called the Southron Coast. There's also the Gulfins that we may visit, but I don't know if they're going to like us that much, so I'm not going to bother. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to Leafatun, and we're going to head southwest to Umbar. But first, I want to check out this structure right here. I think we may have seen one of these before. I don't think there's any loot in it, but it seems to be some kind of like obelisk pillar structure. It looks really neat. Let's see if I can climb to the top of it. Yeah, it's just really deep. You could easily get lost in it if you're not careful. But I have a horse, so we're not going to get lost in it because we are good at the game. Alright, there's some RXs we can kill. Doesn't seem to be a lot in this area in terms of settlement. There seems to be some kind of round structure up there. I don't know whether it was a cedar canopy or if it was a boulder or something like that, but I do want to check it out in case it was something useful. It was nothing. It was just a cedar canopy. Well, I guess that means we are going to just go to Leafatun, bada bing, bada boom, and head southwest. Gotta wait to fast travel. Whew. Once we're going southwest, we'll hopefully pass some coast Southron settlements, or maybe fortresses. At least something that's not just Morwaith mercenary camps. Hopefully. And we're just gonna be heading southwest. Oh, geez. Sorry, I accidentally pressed the E button. Didn't mean to. The coast is kind of sandy, lots of green, probably because of the water. I like this big. I believe we already have one of these trees. I think it's larch. I could be wrong, but I believe it's a larch sapling. It doesn't look like a fir sapling. Fir saplings are usually much taller and more pine-like. Well, either way, I'm grabbing one of these. Oh, geez. Thank you, lag, for regenerating these leaves for me and wasting my time. There we go. Wow, absolutely no saplings from this. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is a cypress tree. Oh, good. I knew there was cypress down in Far Harad. I just didn't know where it was. And I didn't know what it looked like because I'm dumb. But that's fine. I don't know all the trees, alright? I pride myself in knowing a lot of trees and what they look like, especially in this Minecraft mod. I did not know what cypress looked like. I apologize. Then again, this regular vanilla Minecraft makes birch look white with a bunch of dots in it, which looks a lot more like aspen boughs. And because at least there's also different kinds of birch trees. Because some birch trees, yeah, they could look like that, but because birch sometimes grows in Sweden, where the game was made, they probably designed it like Swedish birch or more like aspen trees. But if you guys have ever heard of river birch is a kind of birch tree where the bark is very papery. And in fact, as the tree ages, it sort of peels away layers. So you could actually take off bits of the bark, and it's very thin and flaky, basically, kind of like papyrus. It's really neat. When I was a kid, I had river birch growing out in my backyard, and what I would sometimes do is I would pretend I would be like like an ancient scribe. I'd take a piece of river birch, and I would take like a piece of charcoal from a fire that I would make, and I would like draw on the river birch, and pretend I was writing down ancient secrets, etc. You know the deal. And we were heading southwest. That's not where we need to go. We need to head south. Well, we were heading southeast. We need to head southwest. You guys have really cool looking armor. You guys have the Haradrim warlord helmets, I believe. I can't make any of those because I'm not a Haradrim. But look at those things. Those are beautiful. I love cool looking helmets. Some of the best looking helmets in this mod are a little more simple and clean, not as ostentatious as the warlord helmets. But the golden runic helmets, I think, are just the golden runic armor in general looks absolutely beautiful. It's ornamented in a way where it's very distinct, but it's also not really flashy and gross looking. Kind of like crests on medieval knight helmets when they jousted. They would just put a whole ass eagle on top of their head. And that was a little too much for me. But having things that are slightly modeled after animalistic figures, like a good example of this is what the Peter Jackson crew, What a Workshop did with the Rohirric armor in the Lord of the Rings films, where lots of the armor had horse motifs on it. Like Theoden's helmet had a horse as its. I don't know what that part of the helmet is called. That basically is a line, a sort of arch reaching from your nose back across your crown and down your back. It's where his sort of helmet fluff was mounted onto. That looks beautiful. Also, I think Eomer had a horse head as a nose bar to cover his nose in battle. I think that was really, really cool looking. Little designs like that, where they still serve a purpose, but they're ornamented in a way, look great. It's like people find the form that works, and then they just decorate on that form. Like, if you have a sword, and you have two quillons, which are the bits that stick out from the guard that form the T shape of the sword. You take those quillons and you make them look like dragon wings, or you make them uh, more twisty iron, or you make them look unique. Where, yeah, they still serve to guard your hand, but they also look, ornamental. I think a good design I've seen of this is there was one sword design I saw where it was another Lord of the Rings film, King Theoden's sword, where they took a the swords there had very small guards, kind of like Anglo-Saxon swords, where they had the quillons were very, very small, and it didn't protect your hand that much, but it mainly prevented you where if you stab someone from your hand, sliding up the sword and hitting the blade and cutting your own hand open with if you stab with too much force. But the thing there was that his guard looked like two horse heads. And, oh man, it was so beautiful. I'll put a picture up here. But man, I love the way this sword looks. King Theoden's sword is one of the most beautiful swords I've seen. And there's even classic designs from history, like Joyeuse, which was a supposedly Charlemagne's sword. There's a replica of it out, and it looks so good. It's like encrusted with gems and stuff. It looks so cool. And Japanese swords are known for their nice looking. I don't know what the disc shaped guard of a Japanese sword is, but some of them, they're not just metal discs that protect your hand. Some of them look like flowers. Others look like concentric rings. Some of them are made of like brass and gold rather than iron. They look really, really cool. And Japanese swords, everyone thinks about like katanas are just the coolest sword. And in some respects, they have a very pleasing shape to them. They're narrow, slender. They have like this sort of slight curve to them. They look really dope. Whether they're like the best sword in the world, it's obviously up for contention. There's no best sword in the world. It depends on what you are aspiring to do with the sword. If you're trying to execute someone, probably a big old executioner sword is probably the best thing to do. If you're trying to, stab someone, a rapier might do better than, let's say, a messer. But that's a topic for another time. What I'm mainly talking about is how simple designs like the katana or like the typical European arming sword can be expanded upon and decorated in such a way where it just takes it to a new level of beauty. And the elvish swords in the Lord of the Rings are no exception. Like Sting has a leaf-shaped blade, which already looks really cool to the eye because it's based on a Greek xiphos, which is a Greek short sword that had a leaf-shaped blade from the Bronze Age and then later in the Iron Age. But it also had that elvish writing in the films, at least. It had this elvish writing. In the books, it didn't have elvish writing because it didn't have any runes on it, because it was basically just a dagger that was forged by the elves of Gondolin. It wasn't anything special. But in the movies, they had Sting already named, where they had like "I'm Sting, I'm the Spider's Bane" written on the sword, even though the sword was named Sting by its deeds by Bilbo. So I don't know how that engraving got on there before Bilbo. But my point is, that sort of engraving that was sort of swirly and elvish on the sword blade itself, it still was practical, where it didn't, take away from the sword's structural stability in any way, but it really emphasized the curvature of the blade and made it seem more natural in form. Because that's a big thing with designs in the Lord of the Rings films, is natural forms versus geometric forms and how it plays into the societies. Elves are very much in tune with nature or just the world in general. Arda is Tolkien's like planet, essentially. They're in tune with the world of Arda, being there since its inception and stuff, and therefore lots of their weapons and their armor and their clothing takes very natural forms, very flowy, very airy, and in fact, I believe some of Elrond's clothing is based a lot on, very dark reds, ambers, very warm colors, which emphasize the sort of autumnal period of the elves where they're slowly waning away from their summer and spring. I think it's really cool looking. But anyway, point is, contrast that with an Uruk-hai scimitar. Straight lines, almost like a rectangle with a triangular spike at the end. Sharp, mass-produced, machined swords that are just made as instruments of war. And it makes the Uruk-hai seem basically manufactured compared to where it seems like every elvish weapon was almost born rather than made. The way it moves. Versus a Uruk-hai scimitar where, yeah, it was made for war and it was forged in a workshop to kill people. And it's almost like what the Uruks are, bred for war. And they are bred. They do bone down and make little Uruk babies. But anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of storytelling you can do with simple material design. And I think that this mod is a great example of that, where you can just look at a structure of a faction and you can tell who made it and what kind of people live there. I think that captures the visual storytelling that the Lord of the Rings films had, because in lots of John Howe and Alan Lee's artwork of Lord of the Rings, and then in the 1978 Ralph Bakshi film, hey, there's a town there. I'll get to that town when I finish this point. The designs there were just typical, just medieval. People wore tunics and tights, and they had chainmail armor. Everything looked kind of the same, which I guess is faithful to the historical period in which it is set, but saying that The Lord of the Rings is based on a historical period is kind of off. But typical, European medieval atmosphere to it. It looks very typical to those times. But it's not very distinct. Everything kind of looks the same. It blends in. There's not a lot of variation between what works. Because in history, if something worked, everyone did it. They didn't say, hey, let's do something really wacky and try this. No, if something worked, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because you don't want to waste materials. But that's why people like the Dunlendings, the Rohirrim, etc., they have simple chainmail, things like that, because they are menfolk who have somewhat recently formed societies. They don't have the time to experiment with these forms. They just find what works and they use it. But when you go to the elves, they just have beautiful designs and they have their own distinct how am I supposed to put this? They've had the time to develop a material culture that is thousands and thousands of years old. And I think that's saying something, Here is a coast south from what seems like a fortress. Also, that's another reason why the Uruks look so slapdash and the orcs look like they scavenge everything, because orcs are just like, you're put into the world to kill, go kill things. You're not really caring about how cool their weapons look or passing down armor from generation to generation. You are there to murder, Oh, hey, more horses. Neat. And more bread. What's in here? Chicken. Gold nuggets. Ooh, we could use those to make a book. Very, very good. Let's put that in our treasure. Alright. We have what seem like barracks in here. Let me see. Oh yeah, these are definitely barracks of this. What drove you into this madness? Your end shall be quick. Madness, whatever. I'm destroying you all. Oh wow, you're still in the barracks. Hello, friend. Were you having a nice nap? I didn't mean to go in here. You could have just let me go. But you're like, no, intruder! That was a mistake on your part. Ooh, kebab! Hell yeah! Freaking love kebab, dude. Let's go into our food. Let's put a kebab and lemon. Man. Kebab just done amazing. Ooh. Coast South Run boots. Good. We're upgrading our equipment. More kebab. Could always use that. I'm just looting all their crap. They're like, oh, where did all their stuff go? What's going on? Little do they know. Guy just rolls in with a horse and steals literally everything they own. Okay, got a lot of Coast South Run stuff. Oh, hello. Oh, you don't need to be here. Oh, you have an Umbaric poleaxe. What are you doing without Coast South Run stuff? Maybe the Coast South Runs don't have their own unique equipment, and instead the Coast South Runs maybe just have Umbaric or just Haradrim equipment. It's possible. I've seen weirder things. Alright. I think we need to continue going on to Umbar. How far away are we? Oh, we're kind of close. Good, 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 good. Let's get out of this. Let's get out of this gate. Let's keep heading southwest. Speaking of material culture, the dwarves are a good example of visual storytelling where you can tell just based where the dwarves and the orcs share a geometric sort of form to their designs. But the thing is, the orcs, lots of geometric designs aren't as square or octahedral or things like that. All their stuff is like triangular, or trapezoidal. It's not regular. It's geometric with straight lines, but it's pointed and sharp. Like teeth. And even then, like for example, the gate of the Moranin, the Black Gate, in the books it was described as the Tower of the Teeth, and Peter Jackson took that as like, hey, let's make the towers look like sharp, jagged fangs coming out of the ground, And these Towers of the Teeth really speak to the orcs just putting together fortresses where, yeah, they're defensible, but they are just hostile towards everyone inside. Where normally fortresses, you want them to be hostile to the enemy, but inside you want it to be comfortable. No, fortresses were just miserable. Inside those places, yeah, you could eat and sleep and stuff, but they were crowded, and the orcs would fight each other over minor things, and they'd just be miserable, because orcs dwell on misery. They suck. They are self-loathing up the wazoo, That's their whole shtick. Alright, we're almost there. We're almost at the Umbar forest, at least. And so I think that the dwarves, by contrast, everything about them, although it's very geometric stuff, it bends to the form of the dwarves, where everything is so grand and open. There's a lot of room for, these small people, which is very ironic. And even then, their axes, their clothing, in the films, it's described, even the seams of the clothing are very rectangular. They have these... the dwarven clothing in the Lord of the Rings films, and especially the Hobbit films, it makes it seem kind of mannish, but not quite. It's kind of medieval-ish. There's like tunics and stuff like that, but their outer coats, and especially their boots and stuff, and their some of their armor pieces are very much showing off their stout body types, and they are made in a way kind of like a uniform garment. So let's say you needed one piece of clothing for the rest of your life and you're going to travel with that piece of clothing. You would probably make something that was basically like a T shape that you would fold onto itself, and you would have a single garment. Similar to how the ancient Israelites and people of the Near East had these like single, simple garments that they would maybe just wear belts with to make it look similar. To make it look a little bit more form-fitting or something like that. And in fact, these sort of uniform... that's another thing with, like, again, I don't want to keep comparing dwarves to ancient Israelites or Jewish people. Tolkien definitely did have a bit of that in his writing, and some of Tolkien's stuff wasn't entirely great in terms of how it compared certain peoples to real-life races. But my point is, the dwarves took some of that influence, but they also went a lot with Germanic clothing, like cloaks, long beards tucked into their belts, and based on the peoples from which the mythology of dwarves came from, because Tolkien was a big fan of Germanic mythology, and representing the dwarves as a proud, sly, but very stubborn people. And stubbornness is a big thing for the dwarves, because... they are like stone, essentially. And stone don't move easy. So you really gotta convince them to sway from their course, which makes them loyal. It makes them very steadfast in their pursuits, and it makes them a little bit better at avoiding the influence of the rings of power. Because they're so stubborn in their ways, they can't be easily swayed from their true hearts, Man, dwarves are so cool. I think that... dwarves in Tolkien's Legendarium, although lots of modern fantasy media boils down dwarves to aggressive, maybe they're smart, they're very good tinkers and stuff, but they're very, like, dickish, I guess, they're very secretive. But I think Tolkien made them more than that. Tolkien really had them be a noble people that were displaced, that have their own history that they tell. They have their own secret language. They have their own very much where, yeah, they're proud, but they're also very willing to interact with other peoples of the earth because they do love trading, like sharing their wealth. And the problem is their pride in their crafts could easily be turned to greed, and then they don't share their wealth. But dwarves are... they know that they're good at what they do. And because they know they're good at what they do, they are... but they aren't haughty about it. Where, yeah, they know they're the best smiths and stuff, but they keep it to themselves because, really, they just want to do their own thing. They want to delve, they want to pursue their own path to perfection. You know? They want... and that's a big thing with Dungeons & Dragons dwarves, if you read the actual lore, is that their whole culture is based on achieving perfection through their craft. No matter what that craft is, striving to have your work be the best that it can be is a big thing. And that is shown with all the beautiful handicrafts the dwarves make. The problem is, if dwarves see something subpar, they will take the time. They won't just accept, all right, this is good enough, let's go. They will take their time because they're so stubborn to make it as good as possible. And the problem is, with warfare, they will decide, this is what we're going to do. Don't question my orders. We're going to do it. We're going to take the time to make sure all our plans are good. And once we do it, we'll be so proud of our plans and we'll fight fiercely to make sure they go through. But we're not as adaptable as, say, menfolk, you know? Wow, by the way, I'm looking at the Umbaric armor sets. They seem to be made of steel and iron. They're sort of gray. I also like the crest they have on their helmets. Sort of wave-like. But these guys are different. These guys are also Umbarans, but they have a different shield. They have different armor sets. That is Corsair armor, which I believe is made from bronze. And these are the guys that are on the ships that will attack Gondor. Those aren't the guys that, like, protect Umbar proper and have actual troops. These are the guys that ride the ships, take slaves and booty and shit like that. Oh man, it's taking a while. Oh, there seems to be a tent or something over there. Let's investigate. Hello, friends. You guys are Umbar people. Earbarth, Ulfabith. So you guys don't have Arabic-inspired names. Some of the Coast Southrons had Arabic-inspired names. Nizar. You guys... Agon. You guys may have, like, Numenorian-inspired names, or, like, really old-school Haradrim-inspired names. Cool. I respect your history. Cool. Dope. Time to get out of here. Let's go here. There seems to be a tent. There's a statue. There's these guys with arrows. There's a cage with a dude in it. I'm out of here. Hold on. These guys are doing slavery. That's not allowed here. We don't condone slavery on this channel. Well, first off, I gotta friggin' equip some new pants. Let's... oh, I don't have any new pants. Oh, no, we have Tarthrim leggings. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Let's go free this slave man. Let's see. Let's get our plan of attack. There seems to be chests on top of this, tent. So I think what we can do is... the trader will not attack us on sight, I think. So I think if we stay up here... take... oh, they have rum because they're pirates. That's really cute, I think. Okay. So we don't have shields. I've been playing a lot of... I'm playing a little bit of 1.16 on a realm. I've been doing lifelink streams. Very recently, though. I took, like, basically a week and a half off of Minecraft. But now I'm back into this series. Anyway, my point is... I forgot that we don't get shields. And also, these guys' swords, they look really interesting. Man, you guys are not going down easy, aren't you? Wait, let's take care of this guy. This guy has a bow and mutton. Oh, he has a poison dagger. I don't like that. Ow. Oh, hey, rum. Oh, no, that's a rock. My mistake. Ow. Who's hitting me? Gotta retreat. Gotta heal up. Oh, it's an Umbaric soldier, not a Corsair of Umbar. Okay, yeah, screw these guys. Okay, you know what? Let's retreat. Let's find some cover. And let's just take him out. Do we have a spear still? We do. Good. Let's use it. Let's get rid of it. Where did he go? So strange. Please, don't kill me. Please, please, I beg of you. Oh gosh, I think our chest plate broke. No wonder we're taking so much damage. Yeah, holy crap. I saw the armor rating that we had, and I'm like, wow, that's horrible. Why is it so bad? Alright, let's get up to this hill. Find some cover. Equipment materials. Pour South Coast on chest plate. We already have Kill South runs. Let's use Haradrim. Boom. Do we already have Haradrim boots? Yeah, we do. Cool. Alright, let's get out of here. By that I mean let's screw up these guys who are trying to kill us. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Hold on. Do a sneak attack. He'll never suspect it. Where'd he go? Oh, he suspected it. That's unfortunate. Oh gosh, there's another one. Let's head down here. Grab him from there. There we go. Alright. Let's take care of this guy, and then we'll free this slave. Yeah, get close. Okay, so when they get close, they change to... Interesting. So it seems like the Corsairs have a mixture of bows and melee weapons on them at all times. There's the Corsair captain. Let's eat some food, heal up, and then we'll free the slave. Where is the Umbar archer that's been messing with us for the last friggin' 10 minutes? Okay, seeds. My friend? Oh man, you guys are very, very sad. Let's get you guys out of here. Ah! What the hell? I freed you guys! Do I not even get alignment for you? Oh, this sucks. I don't even get alignment for freeing you guys. What the hell? All I did was try and help you. This sucks. Okay, yeah, this archer has the high ground on me. I don't like that. Time to retreat in here. Let's bait him. Ah, okay, yeah, he's not getting baited easily. How many arrows do we have? 49. We can outsnipe him. We do more damage per swing, so we'll win the day. Good, 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 good. Alright, oh, here's another chest. Coin, kebab, feather. Grab all that crap. Treasure. Treasure. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the 29th of Blotmouth. Alrighty. We have some Gondor soldiers here, which means that we're gaining alignment for this. That's very nice. I think it's time to end the session here. I think from here we will continue heading to Umbar proper. Maybe we'll actually get to the city. The city is down here. We'll probably get there. Maybe there's actually a city that we can travel to there. Right now we're in the hills, so we'll actually get to the flatlands of Umbar. I'm assuming Umbar is flat because it's near the coast. But until then, don't listen to Noldor propaganda. The kinslaying was not justified.